Breaking news has shaken the region and the international community. Ukrainian forces have reportedly launched a powerful and coordinated strike that caused severe disruption on the Crimean Bridge and targeted several Russian military installations in the area. The events have created an atmosphere of tension and urgency as footage and reports show smoke, damaged infrastructure, and emergency crews responding to the situation. This story is about more than just a single strike. It is about a critical logistical link under attack, the military strategies behind such moves, and the implications for regional security and global perceptions of modern warfare. The Crimean Bridge, also known as the Kerch Bridge, is a massive structure that was built to connect Russia with Crimea, serving as both a symbolic and practical lifeline. In this unfolding situation, its exterior, interior, performance, safety features, unique selling points, cost, and the lessons drawn from its current vulnerability reveal a larger picture about engineering, security, and conflict. From the outside, the Crimean Bridge is an imposing piece of infrastructure. Stretching for kilometers over the Kerch Strait, it consists of dual road and rail sections, supported by massive steel and concrete arches and reinforced piers sunk deep into the seabed. It was designed to handle heavy traffic in all seasons, with wide lanes, thick barriers, and a striking architectural presence meant to demonstrate permanence and control. When viewed in calmer times, the bridge's exterior suggested strength and stability, a man-made artery across the water linking two politically significant territories. However, the recent strikes have altered that image dramatically. Smoke plumes, scorched sections, twisted guardrails, and stopped vehicles are now a stark counterpoint to the original sleek design. Even the surrounding waters, once patrolled calmly by security craft, are now scenes of heightened activity as naval and rescue vessels cluster near the damaged spans. The exterior of the adjacent Russian bases, which had been fortified with camouflage nets, bunkers, and hardened shelters for equipment, shows similar stress under attack. Satellite images and videos show craters, fires, and scattered debris, underscoring how the exterior defenses were penetrated. Inside the bridge complex and its control facilities, the picture is more compact and utilitarian. The interior areas were designed for operations, not for war. Small rooms house control systems for traffic management, load monitoring, and communications. Maintenance corridors run beneath the decks to allow engineers access to wiring, pipes, and safety systems. These interior spaces are reinforced but lack the depth and shielding one would expect in a hardened military bunker. In peacetime, such interiors function smoothly, enabling staff to monitor cargo flows, coordinate with rail operators, and ensure the steady passage of thousands of vehicles. In the wake of the strikes, however, these interiors become vulnerable nodes. Disrupted power supplies, damaged communication lines, and the psychological strain on personnel reveal how infrastructure interiors, even when technically sophisticated, are not built to absorb the shock of precision attacks. The performance of the Crimean Bridge had been central to Russia's logistical efforts. Before the strikes, it carried thousands of tons of supplies every day, including military equipment, food, fuel, and civilian goods. Trains crossed regularly on the rail section, while convoys of trucks moved along the road lanes. This performance gave Russian forces in Crimea and southern Ukraine a dependable route, reducing reliance on vulnerable sea or air transport. The Ukrainian strikes have drastically disrupted this performance. Rail service was halted, road traffic restricted, and alternative routes forced into use. For a military campaign, such disruptions translate into delays, shortages, and increased operational costs. Analysts have long warned that heavy reliance on a single infrastructure link can become a liability, and this case shows how performance under ideal conditions differs from performance under targeted stress. The Russian bases that were struck alongside the bridge were also central to performance, serving as supply depots, command posts, and launch pads. Their disruption compounds the logistical challenge. Safety features were incorporated into both the bridge and the surrounding bases, but these have limits. The bridge was protected by air defense systems positioned on nearby land and sea platforms, designed to intercept incoming drones and missiles. Naval patrols monitored the waters below, while anti-drone nets and barriers were deployed along key approaches. In theory, these layers of safety were meant to provide early warning and interception, creating a protective envelope. Yet modern warfare evolves quickly. Ukrainian tactics combined long-range precision strikes, decoys, and possibly new forms of drone swarms to saturate and bypass defenses. The result is a case study in the limits of static safety measures against adaptive attackers. Safety features that appear robust in design can be outmatched by innovative tactics, especially when attackers have detailed intelligence and choose their timing carefully. The Russian bases too had bunkers and hardened shelters, but their exposure to precision targeting shows that safety is relative and must be continually updated. The unique selling points of the Crimean Bridge before the conflict were its scale, its speed of construction, and its symbolism. It was one of the largest infrastructure projects undertaken in the region, completed in record time under challenging conditions. It was presented domestically as proof of engineering prowess and political determination. For the military, it was more than a bridge. It was a strategic artery marketed as unbreakable and indispensable. Ironically, the same features that made it unique, its prominence, its singular route, its visibility, also made it a high-value target. In the aftermath of the strikes, its unique selling point has shifted from being an icon of permanence to being an example of how even flagship projects are vulnerable in modern conflict. This reframing affects not only Russia's narrative, but also global perceptions of infrastructure security in contested regions. The Russian bases, which had been touted as secure hubs for operations, also lose their aura of invulnerability, reminding military planners that dispersal and redundancy may matter more than symbolic concentration. The financial price of the Crimean Bridge exceeded $3.6 billion USD at construction, making it one of the costliest projects of its kind. Its maintenance and defense have added further expense. Each strike not only causes direct repair costs, but also inflicts indirect economic and strategic costs. Rerouting supplies, losing equipment stored on bases, and facing delays in military operations all translate into additional price tags that dwarf the initial construction cost. In war, price is measured not only in currency, but also in opportunity cost, morale, and geopolitical influence. The repeated attacks show how an adversary can impose a high price by forcing the opponent to invest continually in defense and repair, rather than in offensive operations or domestic needs. The unfolding situation around the Crimean Bridge and the Russian bases thus offers several conclusions. First, critical infrastructure in contested zones cannot be assumed secure, no matter how massive or protected it appears. Second, the integration of engineering, safety systems, and military planning must evolve rapidly to counter adaptive threats. Third, symbolism and strategic value are intertwined. A structure built as a symbol becomes a target precisely because of its symbolic weight. For Ukraine, striking the bridge and bases delivers both practical disruption and psychological impact. For Russia, defending and repairing them becomes a test of resilience. For observers worldwide, this is a real-time lesson in how modern precision attacks, drones, and missiles reshape the battlefield far beyond the front lines. It underscores the importance of redundancy, dispersion, and innovation in infrastructure design and military logistics. As events continue, analysts, engineers, and policymakers will study this episode to draw lessons for the future of conflict and the protection of vital assets. The story of the Crimean Bridge is no longer just about a piece of infrastructure. It is about how engineering, strategy, and technology collide in the 21st century.